Chomp.
Hi once again, everybody, to the final Saurozoic Warriors Wave 1 review. I am UR Supreme Toys, and we're going to look at Marr Ossis today. This guy is definitely so much different from the other figures in this wave. We got a Stegosaurus style character here, and he is just all punked out. There was a toy line in the 90s called BC Bikers. It was these dinosaur biker characters that had motorcycles, and the motorcycles were made of cheap garbage, and the dinosaurs weren't much better quality, but they were fun. And this guy really reminds me of a super stylized version of those figures. If we look at the side of the box, we got Marr Ossis here in this nicely illustrated image, and on the back we have his bio. A member of the vicious theropod tribe, Marr Ossis, aka Marr-O, takes the dirtiest jobs no one else wants, with allegiance to whomever is paying most handsomely. His latest bounty is to capture the rogue Triax Skyver and return the stolen goods to the lords who hoard them. To keep him focused on task, he's been given some of the advanced weapons guarded so jealously by the lords. While not particularly bright, Marr is a cruel fighter, using his brute force along with blades and razor-sharp back spines to slice his enemies. Marr Ossis arrives equipped for a good fight with a knife, brand new Mega Blaster, and armor. So let's go ahead and pop Marr Ossis out. Okay, here we got Marr Ossis. He is a squattier figure. He's a lot shorter than the other guys. He sort of reminds me of a Skeksis from the Dark Crystal in the face. That blue on orange on magenta looks pretty good. He's different from the other guys in this series because he comes with a tail. And I love tails. And his tail should pop on the back here. His color and the tail on this figure remind me a lot of Triceraton from the vintage TMNT toy line. I gotta say, he looks pretty cool. I like this punker biker style. His mouth opens so wide, and he's got the best looking mouth of all the figures. The two Ceratops have the painted jaw with a bone color in it. It didn't look good. Brachion's mouth only opened like so far, but he is just ready to eat your face, and it looks fantastic. I like that. He's got that black leather jacket and a shirt underneath. There's going to be a little bit of paint rub on this shirt probably. There's some on mine. And I like that torn shirt underneath. It looks pretty neat. He has a lot of bands and stuff on his arms. He's got this block of wood strapped to his wrist here. He's got this spiked gauntlet here and a sheath strapped to his elbow. He's got a cool magenta belt with all kinds of pouches sculpted into it. This is a very nicely sculpted belt too. He has a lot of Playmate-esque design in him. He has some light dark wash on his shoulders and around his eyes. I love those eyes. They're painted pretty cool. They've even got a little bit of that red magenta around the back of the eye. So he's painted very nicely. Now he has a tail, and that's something I wish the other characters had. Tails are just necessary for dinosaurs. Now accessories, he comes with this little spiked pauldron. It just snaps into place. It should snap on the right shoulder. Yeah, it just snaps on there. It's probably going to fall off every time you articulate him, but whatever. And then of course he comes with this bigger knife. It's the same style of knife that came with Range Brachion, but bigger. It's just a little bit bigger. I'm surprised they didn't use the same knife. But it will slot into his sheath on the side of his arm, and looks pretty decent. Then he's got this massive machine gun looking thing. Unlike the guns from the other figures, this one has movable parts. It is a hollow plastic. It's made of two different pieces, and it has a heavy paint wash on it. Heavy. So it's really black on the underside of it. It's got these colored canisters on the side, and I gotta be honest, this gun kind of feels cheap and hollow. I would be worried about breaking these handles. He has these big hoses that are coming off that are just painted in gray. And it looks pretty good. I mean, the gun looks great. I just worry about the quality of it. I love all these fins on his neck and back and his tail. They run down pretty cool. His articulation, as mentioned, his mouth opens pretty wide, depending on how you articulate the neck. His neck is articulated pretty well. It can swivel and turn right here. He's almost like a bird. And then he's got some movement here at the base of the neck. So you can move his whole head around if you want. Tilt it back a little bit before it hits that back, and forward just a little bit. But it does have a lot of side to side. Like the other characters, he has a huge waist bobble. He's a bit squattier, so it's going to take some effort. And when you pose him up, you might see that cut and construction underneath. But you can get some nice range of motion in his torso. Now, I don't know how this knife in the scabbard is going to affect his articulation on his arm. But even with it in there, his arm can go up pretty high and hinge. He's got an elbow cut right there. And that strap actually does not hinder that at all. I think it goes about as high as it would go with or without it. It's right above that cut. And of course he's got swivel and hinge hands. Now these hands are a little bit loose. They swivel a little bit too much. And these gauntlets are going to like wiggle around constantly. And of course if you move his arm up like this is going to want to pop off. But it'll stay on there just enough so you can pose him and get it to stay. He's got spiked knuckles on his gloves that are painted. So if he punches you in the face, you're going to lose an eye. And his leg articulation is just as dynamic as everybody else's. They're on a ball joint. This one's going to want to hit that belt right there. So you might want to move that out of the way a little bit. Other than that, pretty good. His knees are a tad loose. Not too bad. He's got these nice little knee pads on his knees. And they're swiveled. And of course he's got his hinged and rockered ankles. This guy's got a lot going on. Let's see if he can actually wield this giant gun. It's sort of held like a Gatling gun. The handle's holding into place. I mean, you can definitely get him to hold it. As mentioned, I'd be worried about breaking those handles off. As far as getting it to point in the direction you want, you might have to finagle his body and head to do so, because he's not going to really be able to point it towards anything in particular. But he is definitely a fun looking character and figure. I think he looks fantastic. This guy is pretty cool. Pretty cool. Bring in Range Brachion towers over him. Even Triax towers over him. Ceratopsian Guard. Nightlands Brachion. I gotta say, this is a fantastic toy line. I would have died as a kid to have these toys. I was really on the fence about picking these guys up, but after getting them, I love them. They're fantastic. Boss Fight Studios, you knocked it out of the park. I really hope this line is successful for you guys. I'd like to see you guys continue it. There are so many different dinosaur designs and concepts that you could do. So I look forward to seeing what you guys bring to the table in future waves. I'm already all in for Wave 2. Can't wait to get that Ankylosaurus. Anyway, this ends my Wave 1 reviews for Saurozoic Warriors. And this has been an unboxing of Marr Ossis from Saurozoic Warriors by Boss Fight Studios. And I am UR Supreme Toys. Thank you so much for watching.